kept pushing on, but then you went too far. When your ship has sailed and all your dreams are lost, everything is wrong, you feel like it's your fault. Just remember, I will be there for you, baby. Remember, there's nothing out there to get you, don't forget it. When life goes lemons, just remember. Just remember. Just remember. You're stronger now than you ever been. You gotta leave now, it's time to catch the wind. You will climb up high and look through the clouds, and when you're feeling low, I know you'll bounce back. Oh, and just remember, I will be there for you, baby. Remember, there's nothing out there to get you, don't forget it. When life throws lemons, just remember. Just remember. Just remember. Just remember.
From the last great Coliseum, the Monday Night NASCAR Xfinity Series, brought to you by A Lot Cleaner Property Management and Maintenance, is ready to get it on here in Thunder Valley. Good evening, everyone, and welcome to the Tony Trapasso Memorial Broadcast Booth. Dave Regal here at the microphone, as always. Glad to be with you tonight as we are in playoff mode once again here in the A Lot Cleaner Property Management and Maintenance Xfinity Series. Round one of the playoffs begins tonight here at the Food City 300, and I'll tell you what, folks, this is shaping up to be quite exciting. Bennett Allen leads us into the playoffs tonight, and I'll tell you what, he has worked his butt off all season long to get himself where he is. That is our 2022 MNN Xfinity Series reigning champion, and he looks to go back-to-back here tonight at Bristol Motor Speedway. I want to thank everyone for joining us tonight, because I'll be with you every step of the way, from the green flag to the checkered flag, right here on Sim Racing Media, and glad to be with everyone tonight. Of course, as I just mentioned, round one of the playoffs underway tonight in the Xfinity Series. An exciting race last night as Jacob Schneider ran an absolute clinic in the Cup Series. Schneider swept all three of the stages last night in the Cup Series in the 500, and tonight here in the 300, we expect maybe a little bit more of the same as Aaron Mack out here qualifying, lays down fourth fastest time. Bennett Allen, as I just mentioned, our points leader and reigning champion in 2022, comes out here going sixth fastest in his qualifying effort. Chris Claude out here in the number 10 Little Caesars Pizza Toyota Supra just went seventh fastest. And Chris had a heck of a night last night in the Cup Series. And our surprise this week is John Wilco out of McAdoo, Pennsylvania. He has now earned his way into the playoffs in each of the three series here in the Sunday Night NASCAR family of racing. Jeremiah Mullins finishing his effort as he is going to go inside of row 2 on his qualifying run. Brandon Minto, as we can see here, out of Norman, Oklahoma, just getting wound up, and I'm expecting good things out of Brandon tonight. As he crosses the start-finish line, he takes it slow, now taking this high line. As he moves down the backstretch and into turn 3, we start to see it looks like he wants to use a little bit more speed, maybe not necessarily as much at the bottom of the racetrack, which can loosen the car substantially as he goes ninth fastest. Zachary Vaughn, who's showing up as just Vaughn here in the 91, he's out on his first lap and just went second fastest. My goodness, laying down a 14.98 second lap time. And he stays there at P2. Ryan Honeycutt currently atop the pile on timing and scoring. Rich Jett, Dan Morgan, John Wilco, and Randall Watkins still yet to lay down a legitimate qualifying lap here at Bristol Motor Speedway. And folks, as I had mentioned, I mean, last night in the Cup Series was something to behold. You know, first of all, just a few cautions, and let's pull up some of those stats for us right now, as the Stacey Strong Cup Series last night was incredible. And, of course, now I'm trying to get those stats, and it doesn't want to cooperate with me. There it is. 5 total cautions. Now, I want you folks to understand that there were 5 total cautions, but 2 of those cautions happen to be for, of course, the end of the stage breaks. So, really, there were just 3 cautions for cause in 500 laps here at the last great Coliseum, and that's something to behold in and of itself. Now, you have to keep in mind that, you know, we only had 20 drivers last night. We've got 20 tonight. So we may see some of the same here, but Jacob Schneider bested Nick Stein as they were the only 2 cars left on the lead lap. And just an incredible job from Schneider. Now, tomorrow night, looking ahead here in our weekly schedule, we'll be right here again for the 200 presented by, there we go. For the 200 presented by Ohio Logistics at Bristol Motor Speedway for the 200. And I'll tell you what, once again, I think we're going to see an incredible performance as we head into tomorrow night. But the story tonight, of course, all about the Xfinity Series. And as we steam here, this top 12, we'll take a look at who is in the playoffs and who didn't make it. And again, you know, a lot of the usual suspects, as the great one Tony Trapasso would say. But Bennett Allen sits atop the pile, followed by Brandon Minto, Aaron Mack, Gabriel Lafreniere, our neighbor from the north, R.P. Allen, running in 5th. Chris Claude makes the playoffs here in the Xfinity Series, followed by Rich Jett, Zachary Vaughn, John Wilco, Alexander Gangler, Ron Fitting, tied with Dan Morgan here for those last 2 spots. about a minute and a half left. Sorry, 2.5 minutes left in qualifying, and it looks like everybody has run who they want to or where they want to. Let's see if we can get a hold of points leader Bennett Allen. Hey, Bennett, it's Dave up in the broadcast booth. You got a copy?
Yeah.
I really appreciate the CBS or the NFL on CBS. Is that
let me turn that off real quick. Let me turn that off. Hold on. Yes, I'm here.
Obviously a fan of CBS Sports, you are?
Childhood thing, yeah.
That's fine. Everybody needs a hobby. But listen, you steam into the playoffs tonight, leading the points coming into the playoffs. It looks like you're poised to make a repeat for your 2022 offering here. What are you thinking as we move into the first round tonight?
Not feeling great. I find it a little bit interesting that a couple of guys have joined the league right as we get in the playoffs. I think Ryan Honeycutt did a couple races earlier this year, so that's okay. But setup's not where I want it to be today, so I'm just going to try to get stage points and be there at the end. But playoffs are always interesting because anything can happen with one mistake. So just going to have to get through Bristol and have a good run at Texas and hopefully win at Roval. So we'll see what happens.
Well, I was about to say, one of your bread and butter tracks is coming up in a few weeks on October 9th for the Drive for the Cure 250 presented by BCBS North Carolina at the Roval in Charlotte. So, all hope may not be lost because I have watched you put on a clinic at road courses over the last couple of years. Round one of the playoffs kind of designed to be a stumbling block to weed out some of the trash as we get ready for the round of 8. But, get through tonight, work on it, and, see what happens next week at Texas.
Yeah, last year Texas wasn't a great race for me either, so we'll see what happens. Round one's going to be tough for sure this year. That's part of NASCAR. It's part of the playoffs. But, yeah, I hate playoff format. But I'm pretty sure if we weren't doing playoff format racing, I think I'd be like third or fourth in the points. So maybe I'm thankful for it. I don't know.
Hey, I get it, man. I get it. Well, listen, congratulations on leading us into the playoffs as we get ready to steam through here. Suddenly, my graphics decided to pop up out of nowhere. But, congratulations on leading us where you have, and let's see what happens tonight. Looks like warm-up underway, so good luck, brother.
Thank you, Dave.
As always, a joy to be able to talk to Bennett. He's one of our drivers that is here just every week getting it done in the A Lot Cleaner Property Management and Maintenance Xfinity Series. And we want to quick take a swing here at the chief cook and bottle washer of all that is the SNN family of races, Mr. Chris Claude out of Fairview, Tennessee. Hey, Chris, it's Dave up in the booth. You got me?
I do.
Well, Chris, another season of Xfinity racing here moving into the playoffs. You've managed to make it into the playoffs once again. Take us through how this is going to work for some of these drivers, especially, with some of the points being what they are. And, take us through what this gauntlet is about to be as we head for Phoenix.
Well, we're going to have this round with Bristol, Texas, and the Roval, which will be a challenging cutoff race, followed by Talladega, Las Vegas, and hold on, I may not have my races right.
Nope, I think you're thinking of the Cup Series.
I am thinking I'm getting the two mixed up.
We're gonna go Bristol, Texas, an off week, and then the Roval, and then round two begins with Vegas.
Then okay, yeah, we've got it mixed up. Vegas, Homestead, so we do not do Talladega. That's the one race we don't do in the Xfinity playoffs. Yeah, so that will mean that Martinsville will be another tough cutoff race. You just have to stay out of trouble. And Phoenix being, if you make it there, then you've done really well, and hopefully the people that do make it there will be a lot better at Phoenix than I am, because that's not one of my stronger tracks, which kind of stinks since that's the final race in all 3 series. So whenever I get the playoffs, I know that even if I get to the Final Four, it's a long shot of me having a good chance. But I actually have to run, do the announcements real quick, and I've got the playoff drivers to announce and everything. So I'll have to cut this off short a little bit tonight.
All right, well, listen, congratulations making it into the playoffs and another successful regular season in the Monday Night NASCAR Xfinity Series. You, sir, have guided this league week in and week out for the last several years, so be proud of what you do and good luck.
Thank you, Dave. I appreciate that.
I'll tell you what, Chris Claude is one of the owners that we here at Sim Racing Media have gotten to know very well over the years, and you know, he is probably one of the easier going owners in the realm that we deal with, because Chris has just been a great partner to SRM and the SNN family of racing series, being able to now bring us some action here in the lower series. Once upon a time, only the Cup Series was broadcasted here on Sim Racing Media. The Xfinity Series was on the now defunct Independent Racing Network, and the Independence Racing Network on the back burner as I decided to mothball it and get everybody over here onto Sim Racing Media's airwaves. And I want to thank everybody once again for all the kind words and fond memories to share regarding the loss of the great Tony Trapasso, as I do sit here in the Tony Trapasso Memorial broadcast booth. And I'll tell you what, Jonathan Leach and I, Jonathan, the chief cook and bottle washer here at SRM, we had a chance to go sit and spend some time with Tony's family last week at his memorial service. Jonathan flew in here to Philadelphia last week, and then we road tripped up to just outside of Syracuse, New York together, to a little town called Baldwinsville, which is where Tony was from. And what an incredible experience to be able to celebrate his life with his family. And I know that I carried many of you in the SNN family of racing in my heart as I went, because so many of you reached out when he had passed away, and I just cannot be more thankful for what all of you did during this tough time for us here at Sim Racing Media. And on to happier news, of course, I do want to let everybody know we may have a little bit of darkness here on the airwaves when we go to Miami in a few weeks. Of course, the SRM family going to be heading down to Miami to not only celebrate Tony, but also to watch the Homestead races, Truck Series, Xfinity, and Cup Series. And speaking of watching the races, it's finally time to grid up here at Bristol Motor Speedway. Taking a look right here at Ryan Honeycutt. He's going to be our pole sitter, joined by Mr. Vaughn here. That's Zachary Vaughn on the outside of row number 1. Row number 2 going to be made up of Nick Hansen and Jeremiah Mullins. Mike McConville Jr. going to be on the inside of row number 3, joined by R.P. Allen, big brother of Bennett Allen. Row number 4 going to feature Aaron Mack and Gabriel Lafreniere, while Bennett Allen, the little brother to R.P. Allen, going to be starting in 9th position on the inside of row 5, alongside of Norman, Oklahoma's very own Brandon Minto. Chief cook and bottle washer here in the SNN family of racing series, Mr. Chris Claude, going to be featured on the inside of row number 6, alongside teammate and former SNN Cup Series race controller extraordinaire, Mr. Alexander Gangler, in the 8 machine in row number 6. Ethan Ball going to be in row 7, joined by Sean Kelly, while Ron Fitting and Rich Jett make up row number 8. Row number 9 going to feature Kavaja Holt in his traditional 00, alongside of Dan Morgan, while John Wilco, who has made the playoffs in each of the 3 series from McAdoo, Pennsylvania, doing the 570 proud, going to be starting on the outside of row number 8. And starting shotgun on the field, Randall Watkins out of Miami, Florida, who's a 5-year cancer survivor in the number 27. Going to be starting in 20th position. So a long night tonight, 300 scheduled laps for these Xfinity Series drivers tonight. We're going to have 3 stages. Stage 1 will end at lap 85, stage 2 at lap 170. 5 total sets of tires, 4 changes as we work our way down the backstretch. So they'll be lane 4, starting with 5, as Ryan Honeycutt going to have control of the field as he sits behind the iRacing.com pace car with Zachary Vaughn on his outside. Jeremiah Mullins just behind Vaughn. The iRacing.com pace car makes the hard left turn down pit road. Ladies and gentlemen, grab some popcorn and call a friend. Settle in because we're green flag racing at Bristol Motor Speedway. Good start tonight for Ryan Honeycutt as he leads the field here on lap number 1. And as we cross the start-finish line, we're already on lap 3 as the 53 Ford Mustang is opening up a lead right now. He just laid the fastest lap of the race down. Of course, I know it's early, folks, but 15.1 seconds. We'll talk about lap times later on in tonight's broadcast, but single file go all of these drivers, with the exception of Chris Klon, who's battling it out right now with Gabriel Lafreniere in the 06 Oxmoor Chevrolet Camaro. He is now side by side with Brandon Minto, so a battle of beaters, if you will, as the Oxmoor exclusive to Canada, holding out to one of America's great brews, Miller Lite here. Of course, we know that Brandon Minto is probably sipping on a Miller Lite right now. Lafreniere, though, starting to fall like a rock. He is just ahead of Ethan Ball, who's challenging him on the low side. Ball now considering falling into line as Lafreniere gets the run out of turn 2, and we dive into 3. Lafreniere looks like that 06 is a little tight. He's trying to hold it here and try to figure out how to get that tight race car around this piece, just ahead of Ethan Ball. Dan Morgan in the 72, he's currently getting ready to do battle with Ron Fitting in that W Energy Chevrolet Camaros. He gets a run like all kinds of heck, running out of turn 4 down the front stretch, and just made it look way too easy to get around Fitting. While Bennett Allen is up here with the hammer and tongs out early on. The 94 of Mike McConville, that 94 harkening back to the days of awesome Bill Elliott when he had the, actually it was a McDonald's car, and side by side goes Bennett Allen along with Nick Hansen in the 99. They're bringing along with them in tow Aaron Mack in the Harbor Freight Chevrolet. Of course, as we've noted so many times, this league very Chevy heavy. Just 5 blue oval Mustangs out here and 3 Toyotas. Everybody else has a beautiful bow tie on the front of their machines. Ryan Honeycutt now running all alone. He has now opened up a 1.7 second gap over Jeremiah Mullins. So all of the mayhem forming behind him, and he's just out here on a Monday night drive on the way home, maybe picking up a little, whoa, nearly making contact goes the 15 and the 94. Bennett just shoved it right underneath McConville Jr. Jr. able to hold on to the high line without any incident, but I'll tell you what, this is going to be a battle to watch until they go single file again. We can see right here where it, oh, all of a sudden Bennett is sideways. We stay green, staying green. Let's run that back and see what happened. Just as we changed cameras, it looks like maybe Bennett had a little bit of trouble here. Bennett comes in 1 and 2, running underneath the 94, and just tightens up into the 94 in the backstretch. But we do stay green, so that's a blessing in disguise here on lap number 16. So as Bennett was talking about it earlier, he's not a big fan of this setup. And sure enough, that setup nearly cost him his race. As now. He and Minto going to go down the backstretch. Minto looking to the inside of Bennett, while Rich Jett in the double natural works underneath Alexander Gangler as Gangler cedes the position away. That's the battle for 14th. So action all over the racetrack. And I'll tell you what, this is one of those racetracks where I love coming to, because with the exception of the leader, who's now Ryan Honeycutt, once again out to 2.7 seconds. He's out there running laps. We can let him go for a little while. But as we look at the rest of everybody else here in the field, they are tighter than a pickle jar lid. I can tell you that. Dan Morgan working side by side with Randall Watkins. That's the 27 and the 20 and the 27 and the 72. As the 72 going to best the 27 coming across the start finish line. But Watkins, the victor in that battle. As now Watkins has moved up 3 positions. The Miami, Florida native bringing along John Wilco here in the 62. Alongside his teammate Dan Morgan. And maybe Wilco's smarter than everybody tonight, as 22 laps of 300 in the books already, and he is keeping that car clean and making sure he can put just enough of a buffer behind him to keep Ryan Honeycutt away, who's getting ready to lap the field. Riding along with Ryan Honeycutt right now in the 53, we can start to see the rear bumper of Ron Fitting just ahead of him. And as he hauls it off here into 1 and 2, he's got to start to imagine that into 3 and 4, he's got to start to imagine he's got to plan his attack here to get through what will be the lap cars. And that traffic in front of him, not going to be easy to overcome, as Ron Fitting going to have to hold his ground. He can start to see the 53 in the rearview mirror, and that can't be too comfortable for him. In fact, let's hop down here in the 3 car. We can start to see our race leader just behind him, and Honeycutt trying to hold on for dear life as RP Allen has dropped out of the race. Not sure what's going on, as we see Ryan Honeycutt just logging laps once again. Dan Morgan and John Wilco maybe having a little scrum here on lap 28. I do hear some apologies on race radio. Both teammates there going to be playoff drivers moving forward. You can see that by the purple bumper on there. Ron Fitting in the same boat. This battle cooling off right now between Morgan and Wilco, but just behind, Ron Fitting trying to hold off the race leader with absolutely no success. All of a sudden, Honeycutt slides right in front of him and begins to serve the field a little appetizer here on lap number 32. And as I had mentioned, stage 1 going to end at lap 85, so we're just over 50 laps to the stage break, and so far it looks like nothing going to get in the way of Honeycutt. Running our way through the top 5, top 10, Ryan Honeycutt leads this piece from Hendersonville. He's followed by Zachary Vaughn in the 91, Jeremiah Mullins out of Richmond, Virginia, driving the number 14 Slick Shift Racing Toyota Supra. He's holding on to that liquid death machine as if it is liquid death in his hands. Aaron Mack running in 4th with Nick Hansen in 5th. Side by side goes Chris Claude and the 23 of Sean Kelly. Kelly trying to hold off Claude, and Claude maybe just thinking about cruising around here. However, this is playoff season, so I'm basically trying to implore him, hey, get it done. because if there's anybody that I want to see be successful tonight, it's definitely Chris Quantis. He put so much work and time into these leagues, these 3 series, that you almost have to see him do well. You see side by side the 12 of Brandon Minto and Alexander Gangler. Something not too often that we see unless Minto's lapping Gangler. But tonight, looks like Gangler getting the best of him, so maybe some unsettled feelings. As speaking of Gangler, he always gives us a good evening, and I'm always glad to see him in our YouTube.com live chat. I'd be glad to see you folks at home as well in our YouTube.com live chat. Give us a subscribe, turn on those bell notifications, a thumbs up would be helpful. Let us know who you're pulling for. As it looks like Naughty XLX Wolf Gaming cheering on Ron Fitting in the 3. And right now, Ron Fitting, as we take a look through the field, running 19th position. Still on, now down a lap, but still on the move, trying to get back up here where John Wilco is. As drivers are starting to spread it out just a little bit, Gangler doing battle with the 27. That's Randall Watkins getting around him. Watkins has slowly but surely been crawling up through the standings. He's +8 right now from where he had begun. But right now, our big move of the night belongs to the double natural, the 77 right here of Rich Jett in his Chevrolet. Looks like Jett's starting to close in on that left rear quarter panel of the 94. The 94 ceding that position away. Let's see if we can get right here to the gyro cam in McConville Jr.'s machine. We can see that right from here, as we've got some time tonight to work inside the cockpits. As you can see, the Cape May, New Jersey native Mike McConville Jr. turning laps here, running in 7th position. McConville Jr. not uncomfortable whatsoever here in the 94, so obviously he's still feeling pretty good about his setup. Not too loose, not too tight. As all of a sudden the 99, no, that's the 00 of Kavaja Holt in a little bit of a mess, dropping down in front of race leader Ryan Honeycutt, trying to hold on to the lead lap position that he has. All of a sudden they have just gone too wide in front of the race leader. And it looks like Bennett Allen and Kavaja Holt are trying to block in the race leader to keep him from putting them a lap down. This is going to be something interesting, folks, as a lot of times you'll start to see some of these drivers just cede away that lap, but they're making Honeycutt work for it. And if there's anybody that I believe can hold off Honeycutt just because he can, it's Kavaja. And all of a sudden, Honeycutt hurling to the inside here of turn 4. Still not able to get around Kavaja. Kavaja getting a little loose. That might cost him a little bit of time. But for the time being, wow, all of a sudden now the 23 gets tight against him. They are absolutely blocking Ryan Honeycutt here, keeping him away from putting them a lap down. Folks, this is something you don't get to see on iRacing very often. It's, like I said, usually somebody just rolls over like a dead dog. But as far as Kavaja Holt's concerned, he belongs on the lead lap, and he's going to keep Honeycutt behind him. This is incredible. Kavaja Holt in the 00 holding off Ryan Honeycutt, our race leader, slowing him down. That's costing him a ton of time right now as they come across the front stretch here on lap number 53. Kavaja's still hitting every mark, keeping him behind him. This is, we're going to keep it right here, folks, because any other time I would say, hey, listen, we'll come back to it. But right now, Kavaja Holt is giving Ryan Honeycutt fits. Now, Honeycutt just dove in underneath, thinking that he could get Kavaja, and somehow Kavaja has made that Ford Mustang 3 wide, keeping Honeycutt behind him and slowing him down ever so gently. Oddly enough, it almost seems like Kavaja is managing to put enough distance between Mac and Honeycutt that actually it's making Honeycutt faster, which is going to improve for Kavaja. As there's more lap traffic ahead of him. This may be trouble now for Kavaja, if anything, Ryan Honeycutt, and if Kavaja doesn't back off, it may cause Honeycutt. And all of a sudden, Randall Watkins does the same thing that Kavaja's been doing. Kavaja's going to take advantage of that and work the high side of Honeycutt and use that to his advantage now and try to gain that position there for 8th. This is the battle right now for 9th and 10th position, as Kavaja just used Randall Watkins as a pick to keep race leader Ryan Honeycutt behind him. This is the kind of show that we've all come to know and love here in the Xfinity Series. The 94, that's Mike McConville Jr. out of Cape May, New Jersey. He's now going to be working with Kavaja to hold off Ryan Honeycutt, as Honeycutt's still able to put so many of these cars down a lap, but somehow not Kavaja home. Whoa, nearly making contact. Goes the 00 to the 53. But once again, Kavaja getting the run. This may be the end of the battle, as Kavaja working the high side over top of Honeycutt. Nope, just got a second win here on lap 61 and put a lot of distance between himself and Honeycutt. Kavaja holding it steady as they come across the start-finish line on lap number 63. They're still doing battle. It just looks like they are trying to, it's almost like Honeycutt figures, okay, if you can't beat him, join him. As he's got about a consistent 9.7 seconds between himself and Aaron Mack. They nearly do, Kavaja catching the left rear of the 14, that's Jeremiah Mullins. Just ripped off the rear end there of the 14 machine. And now Mullins not really sure what to do. He doesn't want to screw up the race leader. He doesn't want to take out race leader Ryan Honeycutt, as Honeycutt now dives it underneath. And we're going to see if Kavaja can hold him off one more time. He does. Oh, this has to be frustrating for Ryan Honeycutt. More frustrating than a Keebler Elf getting demoted to Fudge Packer, that's for sure right now, as Ryan Honeycutt leads this race, desperately trying to put Kavaja down. Kavaja's already gained 3 positions coming through the field here, using Ryan Honeycutt almost as a drafting partner, as it just seems like Honeycutt's been pushing him lap after lap after lap. We've watched this now for nearly 20 laps as we're here on 67. Honeycutt thinking maybe it's time to back off of Kavaja, as Kavaja drifts down in front of him once again. We're going to see here from our drone cam the kind of work that Kavaja Holt is putting in right now to hold off Ryan Honeycutt. 7 cars on the lead lap, Kavaja Holt the last one, and it's almost like Honeycutt is pushing Kavaja toward the next round of soon-to-be lapped down cars, as they basically chase each other like a couple of kids on the playground. And once again, we can see them working here. That is a lot of work to be done here in stage number 1. Kavaja Holt, I'm going to say it, you are the man as you drift. Oh, no. That opens the door here for Ryan Honeycutt. Kavaja Holt trying to hold him off. He does it yet again here on 71. We might see this last all the way to the end of stage 1 at the conclusion of lap number 85. Our blimp finally moved right over top of these 2 drivers, as they're going to just go at it hammer and tongs right now. Get out the torches and pitchforks, folks, because it's a stage 1 battle for the ages. And we're going to get a chance to talk to Ryan Honeycutt as he's now opened up an 11-second lead over Aaron Mack, pushing Kavaja along every step of the way. Now they've got to work around the 23 of Sean Kelly again as now they get ready to lap the field. Kavaja Holt may not have started on the front row, but he's sure acting like he did. Oh, he's got Ron Fitting in front of him. We're going to watch all of this all over again. Ron Fitting moving out of the way. This time he's thinking, okay, he made a monkey out of me last time. He gets a little loose trying to stay away from the race leader and the last car here on the lead lap, Kavaja Holt. I have never seen anybody in all of my time here at the microphone or at the steering wheel fight as hard as Kavaja Holt is right now to maintain that lead. I mean, this is something that we don't get to see very often. In fact, I got to be honest, folks, I don't think I've ever seen anything like this at all in my iRacing career, and this is incredible. $79 laps in the books tonight here in the Lot Cleaner Property Management and Maintenance Xfinity Series. Ryan Honeycutt, your race leader, if you're just tuning in, leads Aaron Mack by 12.58 seconds. Gabriel Lafreniere running in third, Zach Vaughn in fourth. You know, every time, I don't know if you folks notice it, but there's almost a little break in my words when I get ready to say Zach Vaughn, because I just see Vaughn in all capital letters, and I want to call him Rick Vaughn, the wild thing. But right now, the wild thing on the racetrack is the battle that we've been watching between Kavaja Holt and Ryan Honeycutt. Kavaja Holt not about to give away his position. It looks like the 96 may be helping him this time, as the 96, driven by Ethan Ball, going to slow up. Slowing up race leader Ryan Honeycutt, that allows Kavaja Holt to run away from him again. Next driver on the list is going to be Nick Hansen with the 99. And Nick Hansen nearly taking the front nose off of Kavaja Holt. That was a little rude. But now Kavaja has caught up to Nick Hansen. He's got to work his way around. This is for position for Kavaja. The question is, does he let Honeycutt around him in order to gain that position here with just 2 laps left in stage number 1, or does he maintain being on the lead lap? As he gets a run over Hansen, pushed along by Ryan Honeycutt here on the final lap of stage number 1. Folks, we've seen it all. We thought we saw it all. And right now, side by side coming out of turn number 4, as they roll, they come back to the start-finish line on lap 86. That's going to be the conclusion of stage number 1. Folks, what an incredible stage 1 you just saw, as now there's a big wreck in turn 3. Oh, the 14 sideways. We'll take a look at that in a minute. But what an incredible finish to this. As we'll take a quick look here and see what happened to Jeremiah Mullins. We see Mullins coming out of 4 across the start-finish line, just behind the 23. Oh, the 23 bounces off the outside wall. That's Sean Kelly. Oh, collecting Jeremiah Mullins. Oh, my. Let's go ahead and run this back once more, as we'll go right here to Sean Kelly's view. And we see Sean Kelly come down pretty close, but then bounce off the wall, collecting the 14. Kelly managing to spin away freely. But just behind him, Jeremiah Mullins collecting maybe a few too many drivers unintentionally, as we go back to the blimp view. Once more, let's see if we can check this out from right here at our turn 3 cam. We're going to see them come off of the backstretch. And there it is right in front of us, folks. My goodness. Race leader Ryan Honeycutt, who brought home the green and white checkered flag. We're going to try to get a hold of him real quick. And I don't see him. There he is. He is in Raging Moose Racing. Hey, Ryan, it's Dave up at the broadcast booth. You got a copy?
Yeah, I got you.
Hey, man, listen, amazing, finish here to the end of stage 1. I mean, listen, Kavaja had to be giving you fits down there on the track. How are you feeling, and did you eventually just decide that you were just going to follow him to keep the car together?
Yeah, I ran behind him like 10 laps, and once I realized he was very determined to stay in the lead lap, I was just like, you know what? I was like, I'm just going to ride behind him. I got, at the time I had Connor Jones, my spotter and crew chief for this race. He just told me, he was like, dude, you got a 10-second gap, just ride behind him. I was like, 10-4, just let me know, make sure they don't sneak up on me. And we still pulled away from the leaders, so it was just, we were just taking care of the car, and we got 300 laps. There's no point in trying to lap in a car and wrecking it on lap 70.
No, that's for sure, and I can't wait to talk to Kavaja. I've known him for a couple of years, and what he did was, in many other leagues would have been screamed at on the radio, but, you kept it together, and I started to wonder if you were just going to hang on to it there. But as you get ready to rack stack and do it all over again, congratulations on the Stage 1 win, and maybe we'll see you on the other side, as looks like you were running a pretty good clinic through this piece.
Yeah, we got a pretty good setup. Me and Connor worked on it through practice and stuff. I think we got probably a 10th of lap on the field, so if we can just keep this car clean, we should be able to have a little bit more fun.
All right, good luck the rest of the way.
All right, thank you.
That the voice of Ryan Honeycutt, Stage 1 winner here in the Xfinity Series, brought to you by A Lot Cleaner Property Management and Maintenance. Right now, folks, you're going to get a chance to turn it up here on Sim Racing Media. And under caution for the first time for cause tonight, as our last caution, of course, was, although that there was a wreck afterward, our first caution for cause brought out by what appears to possibly be Jeremiah Mullins again. We'll see what happened. Oh, maybe not. Sorry, this is going to be brought out by Aaron Mack. We're going to see Aaron Mack in that black and yellow Harbor Freight number 31. A little connection issue from Zach Vaughn ahead of him, as he looks to split these two drivers, holding it together. Whoa, and there it is, getting loose coming out of turn 4. Oh. Chris Claude catching a piece of the action. Let's run that back and see exactly where the beginning of this problem came from. We'll see if we can pull this up here on our Zoom view. As you're watching, the The 06 rubs the wall, came down into the 31. Oh! That's something you don't like to see. So Aaron Mack going to have to get some repair done, that's for sure. Let's see if we can get a hold of Kavaja Hole here while we're under caution. There's one I don't get a chance to talk to enough. Hey, Kavaja, it's Dave up in the booth. You got me? Hey, buddy, listen. That show that you put on at the end of stage one, I mean, well, from like half of stage one, was incredible. Something that we almost never get to see on the iRacing.com servers. Take us through that. Were you just determined to stay on the lead lap that much? Hey, Kavaja. And I don't see him talking. Darn. Not sure what's going on there with Kavaja. I had him and all of a sudden lost him again. So Ryan Honeycutt going to lead the field as we come into turn 3. The iRacing.com pace car light's still on, so we're not at 1 to go yet. Double file restart here at Bristol Motor Speedway. Dave Regal in the Sim Racing Media broadcast booth, the Tony Trapasso Memorial broadcast booth, bringing you all of the action from the Monday Night NASCAR Xfinity Series presented by A Lot Cleaner Property Management and Maintenance. 9 cars back on the lead lap now as Brandon Minto waved around as the lucky dog. The iRacing.com pace car dives down pit road. Ryan Honeycutt enters the Geico restart zone, hits the loud pedal. We see the nose of the 53 pick up like a piece of paper in the wind, and we're back to racing. Zach Vaughn and Rich Jett side by side down the backstretch. They're going to be battling it out most of the night here, it looks, as Rich Jett in the double natural trying to lay claim to second position and chase down Ryan Honeycutt. I got to tell you, I don't know if Ryan Honeycutt has any relation to BJ Honeycutt from the MASH 477. Right now, he's looking like he's fast as a jackrabbit. Kavaja Holden, as we saw in stage 1, trying to chew through this field and get as close as he can up to our race leader here on lap 104. Just having our first caution for cause. We're working our way toward lap 170, so about 65 laps to go now, as this field is dragging us around the racetrack at breakneck times. 15.09 seconds, the fastest for Honeycutt, just laid down a 15.2, so just 1/10 fall off after coming in on lap number 88, as well as most of the field. Looks like Aaron Mack and John Wilco each came down on lap 98. So we're going to start to see some of that, some of the pit strategies changing around. As you're going to see that top 5, they all came down about the same time, as things starting to change. But Rich Jett up 15 positions. You can see that there on our graphic. That's something to keep an eye on, that's for sure. You can see all of these times starting to bounce around, if you will. Aaron Mack here in the 31, trying to hold his own. A little bit of race info there at the bottom. Brandon Minto gaining a spot here. Just a little something different there. As, ooh, 31 coming down. Oh my. That could have been treacherous, or that had to have been treacherous. That could have been disastrous, that is, for the rest of the field. Let's take a look here at what just happened to the 31. As we take a look, Merrimack just has the rear end of that Harbor Freight machine step out coming out of turn 2. But he gets it back underway with relative ease. As we're back live here on lap 114, Ryan Honeycutt starting to make his return. He can see Gabriel Lafreniere from Saint Jude in his windshield. And right now, I don't think that Lafreniere wants to see Honeycutt in the rearview mirror. So Ryan Honeycutt out to a 1.3 second lead over Rich Jett, as he and Chris Claude doing battle here. Chris Claude 2 laps down now, can't be pleased, but when we come back, we'll continue to watch the A Lot Cleaner Property Management and Maintenance Xfinity Series live here on Sim Racing Media. Dave Regal in the Tony Trapasso Memorial Broadcast booth. Thank you for making us a part of your evening. We'll be right back. Welcome back to Bristol Motor Speedway, where the A Lot Cleaner Property Management and Maintenance Xfinity Series is working lap 129 of 300 as we're getting ourselves deeper here into stage number 2, which will conclude in about 40 laps. Take a look right now at Kavaja Holt, as Holt right now running in 6th position has been a menace all over the racetrack tonight as he works his way forward. He was giving fits to Ryan Honeycutt until Honeycutt finally rolled over and said, "Fine, I'll follow you around," just to keep the car safe, as he is currently trying to hold off Brandon Minto, who just worked his way around the lap car of Cape May, New Jersey's very own Mike McConville Jr. Ryan Honeycutt, your race leader right now, having about a 3-second gap between himself and Rich Jett in the double natural. That's the 77, who's just behind the lap car of Chris Claude. Nick Hansen running in third position, being hunted down by Nick Vaughn. See, I almost did it again. Zach Vaughn. John Wilco running in fifth. Kavaja Holt in sixth, as I had mentioned. Brandon Minto in seventh. Gabriel Lafreniere working his way around Sean Kelly, the lap car. As a lot of drivers having some trouble getting out of turn 4 and onto the front stretch. Ryan Honeycutt, though, all kinds of dialed in right now in the number 53. We can see Honeycutt absolutely relaxed, maybe a little reclined here in his cockpit out of Hendersonville, and we're under caution. Looks like Kavaja Holt may have been involved in this one. We'll see what happened. We see Kavaja coming down the backstretch. Oh, making contact with the 15. And as he tries to get himself recovered, it looks like Bennett Allen just collected him and pushed him down the front stretches. Wow. He was not about to come off of Kavaja either. Let's take another run at this, because it almost seemed it was out of frustration, as we're going to look at this right from the cockpit of Bennett Allen. We can see Allen trying to get him off. Oh, Bennett. Race control is going to want to take another look at this, but oh my. Let's look at this again. We can see Bennett catching him by accident. And, well, folks, you can draw your conclusions from there, as that did not look very friendly. We'll take another look at this from our zoom cam. And we're going to see right here, and he just pushes Kavaja down the stretch. Razorback green flag racing. I had to step away for just a moment there to talk to Chris Claude because race control going to have to look at that last wreck a little closer. Ryan Honeycutt. Oh, what is going on back here? Zach Vaughn spinning around as we're under caution again. Not a good restart for Vaughn. We're going to see what happened here. We'll be able to take a look at it right from our blimp cam. And we're going to watch Zach Vaughn come down the backstretch into turn 3. Maybe the cold tires affected him as he just goes sideways, catching. Oh, that's the 12 of Brandon Minto. Oh, the 94 getting a face full of Zach Vaughn. That's Mike McConville. And it looks like Zach Vaughn not able to keep the car straight as he is going to kind of sideways drag this thing down pit road. That's a long pit road in the first place because it's single pit road tonight. But to be able to get that car down pit road under its own power with the rear end dragging the way it is, I'm impressed. Let's see if he can get this thing in here. My goodness. Dragging it like a dog bringing a rabbit to the back porch. Zach Vaughn gets it to pit road. Kavaja Holt coming down. Looks like he may be coming for some more repair after that run in there with Bennett Allen. Once again, we're using the single pit road, so you're going to enter pit road basically at one end of the racetrack there in turn 3. And have to drive all the way around to get back to the front stretch here, coming out of 4. And let's see if we can see that just from above, from our blimp static cam. You can see the entrance to pit road just off the left side here where the cars are coming out of now. That's actually turn number 2 that they're coming into pit road on. Then you have to parade all around here through the right side of your screen to the exit of turn 4 on the front stretch to get to your pit box. So that's a long pit road. So obviously a lot of these drivers are going to be trying to, make the best of it, if you will. Of course, the largest video display board in our sport and in most sports anywhere, hanging here at Bristol Motor Speedway. Of course, you can go check out Justin Nunley's TikTok page and get some of the stats on that as he was dropping some of those on his TikTok. Of course, he is the fellow that goes, "Listen, did you know?" And, of course, a guest on the Money Stop podcast here on Sim Racing Media. You can check that out over on simracingmedia.com and Spotify. Some of the drivers starting to wonder if Ryan Honeycutt is pulling a Darrell Waltrip and maybe has some lead shot there that he's letting out slowly but surely here in the race. When we go back green, it'll be Ryan Honeycutt, Gabriel Lafreniere, Nick Hansen, John Wilco, Rich Jett, Brandon Minto, Aaron Mack, Mike McConville Jr., Kavaja Holt, and Bennett Allen. 10 cars on the lead lap. Little different here as we've had some cautions in this stage. We come into the Geico restart zone. The green flag waves, and we're back underway. Ryan Honeycutt getting the jump over the rest of the field. Once again, very healthy in his start. As we can see Rich Jett trying to look to the inside now of Gabriel Lafreniere. He's going to bring along McAdoo, Pennsylvania's very own John Wilco. As Wilco considered whether or not to follow Rich Jett, he's got to make a decision soon, otherwise he's going to wind up getting passed by Norman, Oklahoma's Brandon Minto in the number 12 Miller Lite Ford Mustang. And side by side they go until Minto gets around Wilco. John Wilco's brother Roger, of course, Roger Wilco. And we're under caution again as Kavaja Holt may have had himself another incident. And this may be a big one for Kavaja, as we're going to pull out the replay here. We can see Kavaja running here with Ron Fitting. My goodness. Ron Fitting, Randall Watkins, that's the 96. This may be a little something. Oh, the rear end of the doubles here. Oh! Maybe an overcorrection, and that's the end of that motor. Let's see if we can get another view here. He never makes contact with anybody coming down the backstretch. The rear end comes out. He tries to correct, maybe overcorrects, and will go into the cockpit once more. Let's see what happens from the cockpit view. And there he is. There's the correction. He gets it going straight and doesn't catch it in time before it overcorrects, grabs some grip, and boom goes the proverbial dynamite, as Kavaja Holt going to have to tow it back to pit road. So a messy stage 2 here for the A Lot Cleaner Property Management Maintenance Xfinity Series. I want to thank everybody for joining us here on YouTube.com. Looks like quite a bit of you have tuned in this evening. Glad to have you with us. As we are past the halfway point tonight, maybe some of these drivers are going to get themselves calmed down a little bit. When we go back green, it'll be Honeycutt, Hansen, Jet, Lafreniere, Minto, Wilco, Mack, Ball, Allen, and McConville Jr., your top 10. Ron Fitting going to be here in 11th position. Looks like he's not going to get the free pass. As we are getting the 1 to go sign from the man in the stand with the flag in his hand. The iRacing.com pace car bringing us down the backstretch into turn 3. Ryan Honeycutt going to have control, choosing the high lane this time. We watch the pace car dive down pit road. We get into the restart zone, and we're back on the maybe a little accordion effect here, as Nick Hansen didn't get a jump on our race leader as it bunched up the field behind him. Once again here, as the 15 and the 31 going to go at it. The rear bumper gone on Aaron Mack's Chevrolet. Oh, the 3 runs right up into the 31, and we're back under caution. All of a sudden, it's like the 3 just got loose out of nowhere. Let's see what happened with the rear end. And I'll tell you what, maybe Ron Fitting coming down on 138. Some cold tires, perhaps. And we can, Yeah, the three just getting unintentionally loose and collecting Alexander Gangler. And unfortunately, Aaron Mack getting the worst of that. Coming out of turn 4. We'll run that back once more. And we'll see what happened one more time. As we're going to watch them come blistering out of 4. Here comes the boom. And Aaron Mack coming to an unfortunate rest here right at the exit of turn 4. We'll see if we can see this from the digger cam maybe. As here they're going to come. Of course, everybody trying to dive out of the way. So slowly but surely working our way toward lap 170. Laps coming a little bit slower than they were last night. Most of these drivers are going to be staying out here with just about 8 laps to go here in stage 2. And barring any kind of freak accident, it looks like Ryan Honeycutt going to have control of the field yet again. Just taking a look here, taking a peek over at ESPN's coverage of Monday Night Football. Looks like October 1st they're going to have a special broadcast of Monday Night Football, and it's going to feature the Toy Story characters somehow mimicking what goes on the field. So maybe tune in, of course, as long as you're not watching us here on Sim Racing Media, bringing you the SNN Cup Series. The iRacing.com pace car lights are out, which means we'll be going back green flag racing any moment here as we work our way through the 3-4 complex. Pace car dives down, we hit the restart zone, and once again Ryan Honeycutt gets the jump on the field. They're all fighting for position behind him. We can see Gabriel Lafreniere trying to get a run over top of Nick Hansen in the 99, but it looks like Lafreniere is fighting a tight race car. Even as he's shooting down the front stretch, he's now catching the wall. A slow car, he's got to keep it moving, otherwise that caution flag going to fly. All of a sudden, the Oxmoor Chevrolet, slower than slow, and we're back under caution. This should be the stage. That will be the stage. We'll take a quick look here and see what happened. Sean Kelly may have been involved in another scuffle, as he's side by side with Zach Vaughn and just gets himself sideways and takes the inside wall right to the face. So finishing up here in stage number 1, Ryan Honeycutt brings home the green and white checkered flag. He'll be followed by Nick Hansen, Rich Jett, Brandon Minto, John Wilco, Bennett Allen, Ethan Ball, Mike McConville Jr., Aaron Mack and Gabriel Lafreniere all being awarded stage points here at the end of stage number 2. We'll see if we can get a hold of Ryan Honeycutt again. Hey Ryan, it's Dave up in the booth. You got me?
Yeah, I got you.
Well, a little bit of a messier stage 2 than we had before, but obviously, things are starting to heat up here. What are you thinking as now you're going to have a pretty long run to lap 300?
Yeah, me and Connor, we've been working on the car, making some changes and stuff, so I think we'll have a decent car for the in-run. The biggest problem at the start of the run was we were so tight. We started wearing the right rear out, and it didn't work out, so we got some changes. We got the car fixed up, and after this stop, I think we should have a good car to the end.
Well, sometimes you try to make those changes, and of course, hopefully you make the right changes. I'm always nervous, when I'm in the car, whether or not it's time to make them. But good luck the rest of the way, and we'll see what happens.
All right, appreciate it.
Send him on back up here to Raging Moose. When we go back green, it's going to be Nick Hansen. What in the world? Nick Hansen, Rich Jett, Brandon Minto, Ethan Ball, Ryan Honeycutt, John Wilco, Gabriel Lafreniere, Aaron Mack, Bennett Allen, and Mike McConville Jr. Is Ryan Honeycutt going to be starting the deepest that he has all night long. Back in 5th position, we're going to see what happens now when Nick Hansen takes the green flag, and we're back up. Ryan Honeycutt having to slice through the field, taking it 3 wide with Brandon Minto on the high side now as they're side by side coming down the front stretch. Hansen on the back stretch now starting to put some distance between himself and Rich Jett as Honeycutt trying to get through traffic. He told us at the stage break that he was making some changes to the chassis here on the 53. But Rich Jett and Nick Hansen going to battle it out for the lead as Rich Jett looks to the inside, knifes his way underneath, and crosses the start-finish line as our new race leader. He hauls it off into turn 1, and now he wants to put some distance between himself, Nick Hansen, and Ethan Ball. Whoa, Ethan Ball getting loose right in front of Nick Hansen. That could have been dangerous and perhaps night-ending as Hansen able to hold it together. I'm sorry, as Ball able to hold it together. Honeycutt already back up to 2nd position, working around Nick Hansen. And now he's going to put Rich Jett in the crosshairs. Let's see how long it takes him to close this gap between himself and Rich Jett, as now they're at half a second and closing. Now down to 3 3/10 of a second. Lap 181 of 300. We're way past the halfway point in this piece. Ryan Honeycutt getting ready to challenge Rich Jett to take the lead back that he has held most of the evening. In fact, this is the longest that we've seen Ryan Honeycutt not having the lead. Side by side goes Rich Jett and Ryan Honeycutt as they nearly make contact, shoves Rich Jett up the line. As now Honeycutt regains the lead. As Rich Jett and Bennett Allen are in tow, bringing along John Wilco out of McAdoo, Pennsylvania. Taking a look at reigning 2022 Xfinity Series champion Bennett Allen here on lap 188, just behind Rich Jett and Ryan Honeycutt, as Honeycutt starting to put some distance between himself and Jett. That gap now up to 1.3 seconds. Starting to look through the field as Gabriel Lafreniere falling all the way back to 10th position after dealing with what looked like a tight race car. He's just ahead of Alexander Gangler, a lapped car, down 2. Correction, down 1. As Ron Fitting going to be the first driver, so he would be the lucky dog. And folks, we want to thank you for joining us this evening. We're going to step aside and take a break here and pay some bills on Sim Racing Media. I'm Dave Riegel, and this is the A Lot Cleaner Property Management and Maintenance Xfinity Series right here on Sim Racing Media. Welcome back to Bristol Motor Speedway, the last great Coliseum in Bristol, Tennessee, where Ryan Honeycutt, here in the A Lot Cleaner Property Management and Maintenance Xfinity Series, has been running a clinic just like we saw with Jacob Schneider last night in the Cup Series, as he is working lap 205 of 300, letting everyone behind him battle it out. Ethan Ball right now, speaking of battling, trying to get a hold of Brandon Minto's rear bumper and get around him. As they haul it down the backstretch, it looks like Ball maybe having an edge here on the inside. But every time, this is almost like Ricky Rudd and Kurt Busch coming down the front stretch, as they're going to be doing the Tennessee two-step, if you will. All of a sudden, Brandon Minto getting a little tight here coming out of turn 4. As that does seem to be an issue, all of a sudden, Brandon Minto tighter than a drum head. Ryan Honeycutt now out to a 4.7 second lead, getting ready to start lapping the field once again, as Nick Hansen would be the next driver to put one lap down. Ryan Honeycutt, John Wilco from McAdoo, Pennsylvania, Rich Jett in the double natural, running in third, Bennett Allen in fourth, Ethan Ball in fifth, Aaron Mack in sixth, Brandon Minto and Nick Hansen running in seventh and eighth right now. As Honeycutt leads this piece now with a 5-second lead over the rest of the field. Take a look at Brandon Minto. He's still trying to chase down Aaron Mack. And Aaron Mack having none of it, with maybe a little bit of a lighter race car here without that rear clip on the 31. Of course, you can see some of the piping there on the Harbor Freight machine. As we take a look at John Wilco, we are under caution. Nick Hansen maybe having bought the farm here in the 99. Let's see what happens here with Nick Hansen. As we're going to take a look, they're coming down the backstretch and into turn 3. Hansen looks like he's been fighting a tight race car here on this lap. Just behind Brandon Minto, once again trying to run that high line. The rear end snaps out on him. And all by his lonesome, he spins around. So probably not a bad thing that he does this alone. However, one more of those and it's off to pit road for the night for him. As this league does take safe driving very seriously. We'll see if we can get a hold of anybody here on lap 216. Everybody looks a little busy here. 217, so less than 100 to go now. A long night for many of these drivers, especially if they just raced last night, doing 500 laps here. After a while, your shoulders get a little tired. And you know, something to keep in mind here that we don't talk about enough anymore in this league, that this is what's known as an open setup league. And as I was just looking at some stats here, I'm trying to find if this is Ryan Honeycutt's second or third race in this league, but we use open setup. So basically what that means is everybody able to pick and choose what they want to do with their chassis. And it looks like both times, I'm trying to see how many total races Honeycutt has had, and it looks like it's just 2 before this. And both times he finished in the top 10. But in this league, of course, you can build your own setup. You can go to a setup shop like Ryko or McConey or Buster's Corner, whatever floats your boat, so to speak. But Ryan Honeycutt builds his setups from the ground up. So doing a little bit of mad scientist work has gotten himself into the lead and safely into the lead for most of this evening. Now he's got reigning 2022 champion Bennett Allen on his low side. He's going to be followed on the high side by Rich Jett as they come out of turn number 3. We watch the pace car dive down pit road. He hits the loud pedal and we're back underway. Bennett Allen challenging for the lead now, hoping that maybe he can get a little bit of an edge here as they both came down on lap 170. So 50 laps on those tires, while Rich Jett, making contact with the 53 on those fresh tires. Maybe not up to temperature yet. It's about to rocket on past Ryan Honeycutt. And quite frankly, folks, don't get too excited yet, as once Rich Jett comes back down to earth with those tires, Honeycutt will be back up there nipping at his heels in just a few moments. So Rich Jett right now out of Schwenksville, Pennsylvania, leads this race, followed by Ryan Honeycutt, Norman, Oklahoma's Brandon Minto, and Bennett Allen. We're going to turn it up here on Sim Racing Media. 240 laps complete of 300 here at Bristol Motor Speedway. And they aren't done yet. Of course, right now the Fresh Tire Brigade, led by Rich Jett, out here in front of the race. Last coming down on lap 217, followed by Ryan Honeycutt, Bennett Allen, Gabriel Lafreniere, and Nick Hansen. Gabriel Lafreniere coming down on lap 218 has been fighting. All of a sudden, Ryan Honeycutt showing up on timing and scoring as having crashed. Let's see what happened. Oh my. Just in front of Chris Claude, he comes across the start-finish line. And, the rear end comes around. He's holding it, He keeps it together, but obviously it's time for some fresh tires on the 53. That's going to make things really interesting as we are getting deeper and deeper, closer and closer to that checkered flag that we've all been trying to see get captured tonight. Obviously, Honeycutt going to have to come down pit road. As right now he's lined up behind Rich Jett. Jett going to come down pit road. Interesting. Rich Jett, Brandon Minto, Aaron Mack, and Bennett Allen all coming down pit road. I guess being a lap down, that's going to keep Honeycutt off of pit road for the time being. He'll have to come down. I hope that doesn't cost him a lap. It might, though. However, with about 55 laps to go, if there's anybody I could see lapping the field and coming back for the win after watching what he did in stage number 1, it's going to be Ryan Honeycutt. As now he will flirt with the entrance to pit road, as pit road's still closed for him. In the words of Alice speaking to the White Rabbit, curiouser and curiouser, as now Honeycutt having to allow everybody else past him. That will cost him a lap, as he's going to have to take the EOL penalty end of line. So he'll go to the end of the longest line. That's a lot of traffic between him and the lead. And that's going to cycle Ethan Ball up to the lead of this race, followed by John Wilco and Gabriel Lafreniere. Now, let's keep in mind that Rich Jett and Brandon Minto each came down for fresh tires this time and a tank of Go Fast, so they can absolutely go the distance here. Ethan Ball and John Wilco may have been told to stay out, and that may have been an ill-advised decision. So with the iRacing.com pace car lights out, it's going to be Ball, Wilco, Lafreniere, Allen, Jett, Minto, Mack, and Hansen. Ryan Honeycutt going to be your lucky dog, so unless there's a quick caution here, he may be swallowed up by the rest of the field. The iRacing.com pace car diving down pit road. The man in the stand has the green flag in his hand, and we're back. Ethan Ball leading us here on lap 249 of 300 now that we're back underway. And a knot of cars behind him including Gabriel Lafreniere, Brandon Minto, and Bennett Allen. That's a three-way battle for fourth position, and it's not going to get much easier. We'll turn that battle box on in the lower right-hand corner of your screen. We can see that time delta drifting away, as now Brandon Minto going to move up into fourth position, chasing down John Wilco, who has been on the podium this year and has been Mr. Consistency as far as trying to get it done without a win. And here he is in the playoffs, battling it out against some of the great drivers here in the Monday Night NASCAR Xfinity Series, brought to you by A Lot Cleaner Property Management and Maintenance. I want to thank everybody for joining us here. Jeremiah Mullins in our YouTube.com live chat saying he was hoping for a cleaner race, hate that he was taken out by a lap car, and believe me, that is frustrating in and of itself, Jeremiah. I mean, to be honest, I have been in both positions, taken out by a lap car and been the lap car taking someone out. And, you know, sometimes, I guess that's why I sit up here in the broadcast booth these days and stay out of the way. As the 96 of Ethan Ball just bit the wall. John Wilco drifting back to fourth position now, as Brandon Minto has found that extra gear here in his Xfinity car, that Ford Mustang, rolling it through turn 4. And as he rolls back out onto the front stretch, all of a sudden Brandon Minto from Norman, Oklahoma looks like he's putting the lead in his sights, as he and Rich Jett both came down on lap 244. John Wilco not being down since 217, so maybe Wilco could use another caution here. As it goes Jett, Minto, and Ball. These drivers not willing to give up any kind of real estate, as we can see Rich Jett trying to chase down Ethan Ball for that third position once again. And Ryan Honeycutt has crashed again. So maybe some frustration adding insult to injury. As we're going to see him going to shoot down the backstretch, and and then he hit the money shift. Everybody having to dive out of the way, and he will be forced to park it. So he goes from leading this race in dominating fashion to now being sent to pit road for the rest of the evening, having to park it. So John Wilco, Gabriel Lafreniere, Nick Hansen, Aaron Mack, Bennett Allen, and Ryan Honeycutt coming down pit road in penalty. Ethan Ball coming down pit road. Now we're going to be watching the battle here on pit road, as Ryan Honeycutt going to sit idle, waiting to see who comes out of their box first. It's going to be John Wilco coming down pit road, staying under that 35 miles per hour speed limit. He's going to be beat off of pit road by a hair of Nick Hansen and just ahead of the front bumper of Bennett Allen. So now with less than 40 to go, your new race leader, Rich Jett, going to be followed by Brandon Minto, Gabriel Lafreniere, Nick Hansen, John Wilco, and Bennett Allen, your top 6. Cape May, New Jersey's very own Mike McConville Jr. coming down pit road, followed by Ron Fitting. So it looks like Alexander Gangler needs to learn how to parallel park. Some strong debate breaking out now, as it sounds like Ryan Honeycutt very frustrated with that performance. And of course, the rules of our league here. The iRacing.com pace car diving down pit road. Rich Jet hits the loud pedal on that underway. Rich Jet getting a good jump over the rest of the field. Last coming down on lap 244. He's going to have to contend with a lot of these drivers here in the fresh tire brigade. And they're bringing it along with some heat. As Bennett Allen coming down on 261 is now hungry for the lead. He's going to be held up right now by Nick Hansen. Hansen running in second position right now, just ahead of Bennett Allen in third. Brandon Minto and John Wilco both coming down on lap 244 and 261 now for Wilco. Pull up to pit strategies here and see who's on the freshest tires. Right now, it appears that Bennett Allen and John Wilco are on the freshest tires. Wilco up 13 positions, Rich Jet up 16. He's your biggest move of the night and has no place else to go but victory lane as we're working lap 269 of 300. And we can see the battle here between Jet and Hansen. As Hansen has been getting faster at this point by 7,000th of a second. Bennett Allen closing in quickly. Laps to go this time by as Rich Jet, your race leader, holding off Nick Hansen and Bennett Allen. We're going to step aside one more time and pay some bills here on Sim Racing Media. When we come back, the exciting finish to the Monday Night NASCAR Xfinity Series brought to you by a lot cleaner property management and maintenance. 19 laps to go. We have a three-way battle for the lead. As for second position, as Nick Hansen has run away with the lead. Right now, this battle for second is hot and heavy. John Wilco throwing it in underneath Rich Jett. 16 to go now. As John Wilco has just clawed his way onto the podium for another performance here in the A Lot Cleaner Property Management and Maintenance Xfinity Series, brought to you by, right here on SimRacingMedia.com. Dave Riedel up at the Tony Trapasso Memorial Broadcast booth. As we are now 14 to go, Nick Hansen starting to run away with the lead as he's got about 7/10 of a second over, now 8/10 of a second over Allen and Wilco. Wilco building his lead over Rich Jett, who came out strong here, but obviously had the pit strategy down pat. Bennett Allen trying to knife his way around Alexander Daniel, bringing John Wilco along in tow. Wilco at this point looks like he's perfectly happy following 2022 M&N Xfinity Series champion Bennett Allen. Maybe I spoke too soon as he's looking to throw it in underneath Allen. Allen starting to turn up the heat as he has saved that 15 car all night long. The B-Blaze Vintage JCTV Broadcasting Chevrolet Camaro. Aaron Mack now having crashed. This could change a lot as we are under caution with 10 to go. We're going to keep an eye right here on the 31. That's Aaron Mack just behind the 96 of Ethan Ball. He runs in the rear bumper of Ball. Loosens Ball up, but he becomes the victim of that poor decision. As we can see the front nose clip dancing across the infield. And now just bouncing back and forth as if we're playing Pong. So we're going to rack them, stack them, and do it all over again. If Hansen, Allen, and Wilco have any extra tires, I suggest they get them this time. As Ball and Lafreniere come down pit road. Looks like Hansen, Allen, Wilco, Jett, and Minto going to stay out on the track. So they may have made their bed, and now they've got to sleep in it. Let's see what happens. Seven to go here at Bristol Motor Speedway. It'll be 5 to go when we go back green flag racing. Going to be Nick Hansen taking the green flag when it flies again with Bennett Allen and John Wilco in tow. Ethan Ball and Gabriel Lafreniere each coming down pit road. They're still here on the lead lap. They're going to easily work their way past Brandon Minto and Rich Jett, but then they've got to get through them to get to Wilco and Allen. Lafreniere has been battling a tight race car all night long here in the 06 Oxmoor Chevrolet Camaro. On the outside, though, running in 10th position, Mr. Consistency, Chris Claude, who has just simply been out here logging those laps as we work our way through the 3-4 complex. The iRacing.com pace car going to dive down pit road. Hansen hits the loud pedal, we're back underway. 5 laps to go here at Bristol Motor Speedway. Ben and Allen taking the advantage with his experience here at Bristol, working around the top side of Hansen. Now they go side by side down the backstretch. With 4 to go now, Allen looking like he is going to be getting at it. All of a sudden, John Wilco looking human. Slowing down Lafreniere. The 77 Rich Jet also on 244. Still on older tires yet than Wilco, holding up the 96 of Ethan Ball. He's leaving the door open, but as Ball starts to beat his bumper, that could spell disaster for John Wilco, as it looks like they're bump drafting. Bump drafting at Bristol. With 2 to go, the Pop 76 are in the air. The white flag is now out. The Pop 76 are down. And we're racing back to checkers. Nick Hansen and Ben and Allen duking it out there up atop the pile. John Wilco being shuffled back now into 6th position. Gabriel Lafreniere becomes the victor of that battle as Nick Hansen crosses the start-finish line, captures the checkered flag, and brings home the win here at the last great Coliseum, Bristol Motor Speedway. Nick Hansen in the 99. Getting some love taps there from Ben and Allen and Gabriel Lafreniere. Rich Jet finishing in 4th, Mike McConville in 5th. That's your top 5. John Wilco, Ethan Ball, and Brandon Minto round out your lead lap cars. As our podium drivers going to come here to the start-finish line. Nick Hansen going to celebrate right here underneath the flag stand. Burn it down because you've earned it, Nick. Waiting for Nick Hansen to come into the broadcast waiting room. Just waiting on our race winner, Nick Hansen. He's going to celebrate with those teammates right here underneath the flag stand.
That's
Hey,
the.
Nick, it's Dave up in the broadcast booth. You got a copy?
What's up, Dave? Yeah, I got you, buddy.
Hey, man, listen, great finish to this race tonight. You battled it out here. We're able to get around, of course, our longtime leader, Ryan Honeycutt, after he had some bad luck there. But look at you bringing home the checkered flag. How are you feeling?
Oh, man, I'm stoked. This is the biggest win of my life for sure. Haven't had a chance to win many of these at all. And, to do this in a full-length race at Bristol with some of this competition out here, man, it means the world. Pardon me. Shoot. Man, I'm speechless, The 53 was really fast, and the whole race, it's, racing for second kind of deal unless he has issues, and saw him have issues, and was able to time the tires up and just pounced. And, awesome setup under this car. Want to give a shout out to Mike McConville, my teammate in the 94, for the winning adjustments on this with the track bar. Helped me turn and be able to rip the bottom there. I don't think anybody else could do that late in the run. And yeah, man, huge win. Shout out to my whole JAR TCR team, team owner Trent Curtis. He won a go-kart race the other day, first win in a long time for him, and same thing for me. So, man.
Yeah, I mean, an incredible win. And of course, those late cautions that can come out can absolutely give you a migraine trying to keep ahead of everybody else. And I mean, obviously, coming down on 261 for the money stop, yeah, I'm guessing that you had no more tires left, and obviously you didn't need them, to beat out the fresh tire brigade led by Gabriel Lafreniere. But, congratulations, man. I mean, unfortunately, not a playoff driver, but now you've proven to yourself that you can win here in this league. And more importantly, if you're going to bring home a win, you better do it at some place like Bristol.
Yeah, man, this is a special track. It's one of my one of my best tracks. I feel like I either win or get a top 5 here, or I have Bristol happen. And either way, you always have fun here. And yeah, just a pleasure to be part of this league. Everybody here is really cool, really welcoming, and yeah, really feel like I'm able to hit my stride here. And yeah, awesome stuff, man.
Well, before we cut you loose, who do you need to shout out tonight and tip your helmet to?
Man, I mean, the list is really endless. Ethan Ball for this paint scheme. He designs the paint schemes for Jeb Burton, and nice enough to let me run this per year flag car. Like I said, Mike for the setup and for the changes in the middle of the run there, and it's just Trent Curtis Racing, everybody over there. Great group of guys, and yeah, wouldn't want to be anywhere else and racing for another team. So.
All right, well, congratulations once again. We'll see you next week as we head down to the Lone Star State to Texas. And go celebrate this with your teammates, and definitely a tip of the cap to your paint designer, Ethan Ball, because what a great paint design it was on the 99 tonight.
Yeah, absolutely. Shout out to Dale for running it back in the day, but Ethan did a good job of recreating it. So, yeah, thanks, Dave.
Absolutely. Thank you, sir. That, of course, your race winner, Nick Hansen. And next up, your 2022 Xfinity Series champion, Mr. Bennett Allen, who is currently doing a Polish not-so-victory lap, but still finishing on the podium tonight. Bennett, it's Dave. You got me?
Somehow, yeah.
Yeah, somehow. Listen, what an incredible finish to tonight's race. Why don't you take us through this last stage and tell us how you managed to claw your way up through the field?
I don't remember a lot of it. I just got lucky. I was really going to try to play that late pit stop strategy. When Ryan got DQ'd because he spun out twice, I knew I had a shot at least getting a top 3. And my setup is so different than it was on that first stage where I struggled, and so I lucked into it. And that final restart, I timed that restart so well. I don't think I could have gotten a better restart, but I just was so tight all day, so I just couldn't keep up with them. But I was expecting a top 10. And to get P2 out of it is just a blessing in disguise, because I really ruffled up some feathers with some people today, so I apologize to them. But I was just, it's the playoffs, and so you have to have a little bit different mindset going into the playoffs. You got to be a little bit more aggressive. So maybe shades of the old Bennett came out a little bit there, but I was struggling, Dave. I really don't know what was going on. I was getting frustrated with myself, with other competitors. I was not having it, and I was just taking random swings on my setup just to get it a little bit loosened up. And finally, towards the end of stage 2, I got it to where I can manage, and I guess I managed my way up to P2. So, yeah.
Yeah, man, listen, it was a good night for you. I mean, sometimes you just got to take a big swing at the setup and see what you can do with it. I mean, obviously a little scuffle with Kavaja earlier in the night, but it didn't seem to affect you as much. But before we cut you loose, as always, I want to know who you need to shout out and who you need to tip your helmet to.
First off, I'm going to give all glory to God for being able to do this. I just want to thank B-Blaze Vintage and Bobby over there and his little company, and JCTV. And, Zeem Setup Shop this week kind of had a swing and a miss, sort of say, but, they're still really good everywhere else. So props to them. And, Preston, my brother, throughput early. He's preparing to start up in the eNASCAR College Series, so he didn't want to finish it out, which I don't blame him. So, yeah, I'll be spotting for my brother tomorrow night in the main show, so we'll see what happens there. But I think that's everybody. I'm lucky to be in P2.
Trust me, I'm sure that you feel that way. But congratulations. We'll see you next week down in the Lone Star State. And for now, go ahead and celebrate.
Yeah, I'll celebrate P2. Why not?
All right, brother. And last but certainly not least, our neighbor from the north in Saint Jude, Gabriel Lafreniere. Hey, it's Dave up in the booth. You got me.
Yes, I got you.
Gabriel, listen, a great finish tonight coming down on lap 292 for that last set of tires. I assume that you're going to give some credit to those tires?
It's helped a lot. Very fast at the end, so give me 2 or 3 position at the end. So yeah, nice set of tire.
Now, just out of curiosity, I was watching you a few times on the racetrack tonight. It looked like the car was tight. Were you fighting a tight condition most of the night?
Yes, the car was tight, 30, maybe 40 laps. And after that, the car was really, really fast. So I was able to gain position and go around top 5 after a few laps.
Well, listen, it's always good when you get to see somebody come back and battle the way that you did after qualifying in 8th. Clawing your way up here onto the podium. Before we cut you loose, Gabriel, who do you need to thank and shout out tonight here?
Thanks to the broadcast. Thanks to you for your job, and my sponsor Oxmore Microbrasserie for the beer. So that's all.
All right, buddy. Well, listen, go ahead and crack open an Oxmore, and we'll see you next week at Texas.
Thanks. Good night.
Thank you, and good night to you as well. Well, folks, another one in the books here in the A Lot Cleaner Property Management and Maintenance Xfinity Series, and I'll tell you what, it was a great show from start to finish for these drivers. I mean, you know, they didn't give anybody an inch. They made sure that they were going to be competitive, and you know, sure, we had a few more cautions than we did last night in the Cup Series, but you know, here in the Under Series, the fighting is just beginning as we go to round 2 of the playoffs next week at Texas Motor Speedway here in the Xfinity Series. And before we get out of here, we of course want to take a look here at our final race results. Nick Hansen brings home the checkered flag. He is joined on the podium by Bennett Allen and Gabriel Lafreniere. Of course, we're not at Darlington, so I guess we're going to have to make sure that graphic fixes itself for next week at Texas. Rich Jett finishes in 4th, followed by Mike McConville and John Wilco in 5th and 6th. Ethan Ball and Brandon Minto finishing in 7th and 8th, with Ron Fitting and Chris Claude rounding out your top 10. Alexander Gangler finishes 11th, while Aaron Mack brings home 12th position for the number 31 Harbor Freight Chevrolet Camaro. Randall Watkins from Miami, Florida finishes in 13th, while Ryan Honeycutt, after dominating so much of this race in stages 1 and 2, finishes a disappointing 14th position. Zach Vaughn finishes in 15th, with Dan Morgan, Sean Kelly, and Kavaja Holt finishing 16th, 17th, and 18th, while Jeremiah Mullins finishes 19th, and last but certainly not least, Mr. R.P. Allen, who threw put earlier in the race, as little brother Bennett let us know. And unfortunately for him, that was an early night off the track. But the big story tonight is Nick Hansen bringing home a win here at the last great Coliseum, Bristol Motor Speedway. As we turn the lights out on the racetrack tonight, we want to remind you to stop on by tomorrow for our truck series. Of course, that's the Jack Dow Simulators and Esports iRacing.com truck series right here on Sim Racing Media. It'll be yours truly here in the Tony Trapasso Memorial Broadcast booth, bringing you all of the action from green to checkers. And I want to thank you for making us a part of your evening. I want to thank you for making us a member of your family and joining us every week here in the Xfinity Series. So for myself, Dave Regal, here in the broadcast booth, I want to thank you and remind you that tomorrow, as you go through your day, remember, you're special. You're the only one like you, and that's just fine. Good night, everybody.